Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment where you looked at your life and thought, this can't be normal? Like, the timing is too perfect. The betrayal is too predictable. The setbacks feel scripted. The distractions show up exactly when you're about to level up. Almost like life is watching you. Almost like the world is responding to your growth and trying to shut it down. And that's when the truth hits you. Life isn't just life. Life is a game, a spiritual game, a psychological game, a game of frequency, discipline, awareness, and hidden rules. Most people never realize it because they spend their whole life playing at the lowest level. But you, if you're watching this right now, it's because you've started noticing the mechanics. And once you see the mechanics, you can't unsee them. So in this video, I'm going to give you the 5 most powerful cheat codes that chosen ones must follow if they want to win this game. Not motivation, not good vibes, but the rules that decide who rises and who stays trapped. And I promise you, by the end of this, you will realize something terrifying. You were never unlucky. You were simply playing without the cheat code. Let's begin. This is the first rule of the game. And if you don't understand this rule, you will never win. Most people think they are the character. They think their job is who they are. They think their pain is who they are. They think their past is who they are. They think their reputation is who they are. They live like a programmed avatar. They react emotionally to everything. They get triggered, manipulated, offended, seduced, distracted, because they don't know they're being controlled. But chosen ones awaken to something different. They realize, wait, I'm not my emotions. I'm not my thoughts. I'm not even my identity. You are the consciousness behind it all. You are the observer, and the moment you become the observer, you stop being easy to manipulate. That's why you've always felt different. That's why you felt like you didn't fit in. That's why you would sit in a room full of people and still feel alone. Because deep down, your spirit knew these people are asleep. NPC energy. They repeat the same cycles, same gossip, same addictions, same jealousy, same fear, same pointless routines. They don't live intentionally. They live automatically. But you were never meant to live automatically. You were meant to wake up. And that's why your life has felt heavy. Because the moment you start waking up, the game starts reacting. And that leads us to the next rule. Chosen ones, listen carefully. The game never announces the test. It doesn't say, attention, you are now entering a spiritual trial. No, the test comes disguised as something ordinary, a breakup, a betrayal, a lost job, a family conflict, a delay, a setback, a humiliation, a season of loneliness. And most people fail because they think it's random. They panic, they spiral, they complain, they collapse. But chosen ones eventually learn the truth. Nothing is random when you are chosen. Because chosen people aren't living casually. Chosen people are living under spiritual training. That's why your pain felt personal. That's why your battles were intense. That's why your life didn't come with easy shortcuts. Because God doesn't upgrade weak souls. God upgrades warriors. And every test is designed to reveal one thing. Are you ruled by your emotions? Or are you ruled by your spirit? Because the enemy knows something. If it can make you emotional, it can make you irrational. If it can make you irrational, it can make you self-destruct. That's why the enemy doesn't always attack you directly. It attacks your mood, your patience, your discipline, your self-control, your confidence. It wants you to react, because reaction is low-level behavior. And the moment you start reacting, you start losing. But the moment you stay calm, you start winning. And that brings us to the most important currency in the game. Now let me tell you something they don't teach in school. Money is not the real currency. Time is not even the real currency. Energy is. Because energy determines your focus. Energy determines your discipline. Energy determines your aura. Energy determines your spiritual protection. Energy determines what reality you attract. That's why some people have money, but their life is falling apart because they're spiritually bankrupt. And that's why some people have nothing, but still walk with power because their energy is clean. Now here's what's dangerous. The game is designed to drain your energy, not by force, but by temptation, by distractions, by comfort, by people, by lust, by addiction, by endless entertainment, by arguments, by toxic relationships, by overthinking, by trying to prove yourself to people who will never understand you. Chosen ones. That is how the system farms souls. It doesn't need to kill you. It just needs to keep you drained. Because a drained chosen one is harmless. A drained chosen one is confused. A drained chosen one starts doubting their calling. And the worst part? Most people don't even realize they're being drained. They just call it stress. They just call it life. But spiritually, what's happening is, your light is being harvested. And the moment you protect your energy, you become dangerous. That's why the moment you stop responding, people start getting angry because they were feeding off your reactions. They were feeding off your attention. They were feeding off your emotional investment. And when you cut that off, you start leveling up. But here's the twist. Energy alone isn't enough, because many people have energy, but no control. That's why rule number 4 is the real cheat code. If life is a game, discipline is the cheat code, because discipline gives you something money cannot buy, self-mastery. And self-mastery is the rarest power on earth. Most people can't control themselves. They can't control their mouth. They can't control their habits. They can't control their appetite. They can't control their lust. They can't control their anger. They can't control their impulses. So the system doesn't even need to enslave them. They enslave themselves. They wake up every day and repeat the same cycle. Dopamine, distraction, regret, self-hate, repeat. And the sad part is, they think that's normal. But chosen ones are different because you've always felt something inside you saying, this isn't it. That voice is not anxiety. That voice is not restlessness. That voice is your higher self, calling you upward. That's why you can't stay comfortable for too long. Even when you try to relax, you feel like you're wasting time because your soul knows you weren't born for entertainment. You were born for elevation, and discipline is how you prove to the universe that you are serious. Because the game rewards seriousness. The game rewards consistency. The game rewards those who can say, I will do it even when I don't feel like it. And when you become disciplined, you gain spiritual authority. People can feel it. Your presence changes. Your eyes change. Your aura becomes heavier. And suddenly, you start attracting what used to feel impossible. But discipline also triggers something else. Resistance. And that leads us to the final rule. This is the rule that separates winners from dreamers. The enemy does not fear your goals. The enemy does not fear your visions. The enemy does not fear your plans. Because plans are harmless. Dreams are harmless. Talking is harmless. The enemy fears one thing: consistency. Because consistency is when you become real. Consistency is when you become unstoppable. Consistency is when your destiny starts materializing. And that is why, right when you decide to change your life, everything starts attacking you. Suddenly you get tired. Suddenly your mind gets loud. Suddenly temptation returns. Suddenly distractions multiply. Suddenly people come back from the past. Suddenly drama appears, and you think, why now? Because now you're becoming a threat. The game always attacks you at the edge of breakthrough, because it knows if you cross this level, you will never be the same again. So the enemy throws one last illusion. It makes you think you're failing. It makes you think nothing is working. It makes you think you should quit. But chosen ones, that is the final boss fight. That moment when you're tired, but you still keep going. That moment when you're lonely, but you still stay disciplined. That moment when nobody supports you, but you still stay aligned. That moment is when you win. Because the universe doesn't reward talent. It rewards endurance. And the ones who endure become untouchable.